Hello everyone, welcome back to war number 6 of we're at the halfway point of this season, 34 now, and today we have 5 fights. It was almost 3, but I ended up changing an assignment to myself, possibly incorrectly, but whatever. I'm starting out on path 1. You can see we have Aegon and Mr. Negative, neither of whom are going to cause big problems for my team, so this is just kind of a filler, I guess. This is actually the first time I've taken this node, I think. At the very least, the first time without someone to deal with the regeneration buffs from this node. So I actually thought I underestimated it a little bit, and I thought I would just melt through this Aegon, and I actually sort of don't melt through this Aegon. So he gets this regeneration buff, and he's regenerating quite a lot. He's taking up to sort of 1,000. He's taking up 1,000 a second here. Now, of course, I'm mincing through him just because he's Aegon, but still, it's more regen than I would have liked. And partly, if I get all these debuffs on him, I'm reducing his healing with the Despair Mastery, but still, more than I was expecting, and drags on the fight a little bit. Eventually, he's going to get that passive Fury, but I think the fight might be over before then, because of course Fury is just going to tear through him. Does this finish him off? Yeah, surely does. Now the next fight is of course Mr. Negative, and Mr. Negative can cause some problems on defense, but you get rid of his I'm just checking I'm recording. You get rid of his light charges with a disorient debuff. So Nick Fury is going to manage that, and I'm popping on a guidance boost here to give myself guaranteed parries. Quickly checking the nodes, and in I go. But you'll see I made a mistake here that I didn't back out and go back in because the guidance did not apply. Hooray! Look at that. I'm expecting to get a parry, and all I do instead is trigger Masochism. Now, of course, I'm still going to be triggering Masochism with Nick Fury for these bleeds, but at the very least I thought I'd have guaranteed parries, but then that's a no. I mistimed that evade, which is a shame, but it doesn't do much damage, and I'm still healing quite a lot from willpower. But I'm still going to spam SP1 to, which is going to purge that debuff, just to keep his light energy from being an issue. Here I just block it. I block those hits anyway. And I'm sort of slowly getting his health down, but it's taking longer than I would like. Masochism is of course slowing me down, and yeah, those parries are kind of annoying. I feel better about dodging his SP2 because you can just outrange it and then dash back once there. So yeah, this fight is basically going to plan, thanks to the disorient debuff. Something does go wrong eventually, but I can't remember what it is. No, I don't remember. This is looking good so far. So there we go. I was delirious just for a brief moment there, and I ended up taking that hit. But obviously, it doesn't really matter. Pretty simple fight, and this should finish him off. So not too bad. A bit harder than I was expecting, but still. Now, fast forwarding a few hours, I'm now taking the all of my Section 2 fights now. It's always nice to get them done before bed. Saved up my energy, and I'm taking this domino on the Footloose Kinetic Transference node. As you can see, I've got my tech boost going. I'm going to use an advanced power boost because I'm pretty confident for this fight. I've taken it before. However, this fight doesn't really go that well. Last time I took it, I remember I just smoked it, and I think that's because I turned on suicides. And for whatever reason, perhaps laziness, perhaps complacency, I did not turn on suicides here. I just didn't think I needed to. A scary long loading screen as well, but I'm expecting just to sort of reel off SP2s and completely obliterate her. But starts well enough. I always like getting her to throw heavies or to do those intercepts like that. She does throw her SP1, which I wasn't thrilled about, so I have to wait out the those buffs, but that's fine, doesn't really matter. Missed my parry there with the SP2, and it does some damage, it's okay, and it gives me some power backs, again that's fine. But you know, she's lucky here, so I really don't want to hit her too much because she'll evade. And then she throws the SP1, so now I'm kind of cornered. I'm not super happy. Parry doesn't work, or I missed the parry, I can't remember. Counter a bit, but then again she goes lucky, so I don't want to hit her too much because she can evade. Can't take blocked hits because she'll gain power. My infection's fallen off because she's not going to get power drain. Can't punish there because of Footloose. So yeah, it's all a bit. It's like it's okay. See there again, if she evaded, and I expected her to evade, so I helped block, and now I'm cornered again. It's obviously not a comfortable fight. You know, here I have no choice but to just take those blocked hits. And again, she's lucky, so she can evade. Here I just gamble and throw my SP2, and it kind of works out. She didn't evade the first hit of the SP2, which she could have done, and then I probably would have been in trouble. But yeah, there again she evades, but I just crack on. So yeah, that maybe if I'd used suicides, that fight would have been fine, and I would have got, you know, done more damage, got more power back, and I could have just cycled SP2. But I think in future, if I take that fight, I will do that. Now we're moving on to this Havoc, which is obviously a complete joke of a fight. I didn't need to heal up, but you know, better to be safe in these things. The reason they put Havoc here is, I suppose, well, you'd say to force a Warlock, but of course with that Domino, you're kind of bringing a Warlock anyway, so it doesn't strike me as a good placement in that regard. And when he throws a special, you're going to get 2 debuffs on you, and if you happen to have Havoc's Plasma on you, that'll equal 3 debuffs, which means he'll be unblockable. But of course, when you're using Warlock, you're power draining him constantly, and he loses his plasma charges when he's power drained. So you know, you're never ever going to get plasma on you as Warlock when you're fighting against Havoc. Still got the tech boost back, so you know, I did push myself right to another SP2. Doesn't matter. He's down nice and quick. And our last fight of the war, which is the most exciting one, is this this Null. Now I'm using Nick Fury here. So here I think go on, I'll give myself a bit of extra attack. So I chuck on White Magneto. I'm using my 3rd one later down the line. Someone else. And I think so. The plan here is to use a Power Stat 1 boost to because of course he's going to start out unblockable, because as I'm about to check, I think I remember this guy is Sig 80, which means he I back out just to make sure the White Magneto pre-fight's there, and then I check his Sig. He's Sig 80, which means he's going to start with all those debuffs on you, which means he starts the fight unblockable. And I'm going to do a dash back, use my SP1 to knock him down, purify all the debuffs, and then everything will be fine. However, what happens here is super annoying. This has actually happened to me before, where the first hit of his there I get tagged, which is just annoying. The first hit of his SP1 here misses him, and he blocks. So he blocks my attack. To sort of work our way up to another special. There I do a poorly timed intercept and get parried. So you know, we're looking pretty bad here. Finally, I managed to chuck off my first SP1. Purify all these debuffs and go unblockable, which is worth noting. Here I do a parry heavy just to purify that debuff. I think that was a silly thing to have done, and I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did it anyway. Now here I want to get rid of those armor breaks, so again I throw my SP1 just to purify them, and I'm unblockable here. And I think to myself, oh, I can dash in, but of course he dashes in, and he actually intercepts me there. So yeah, I don't like trying to act while unblockable. I usually find that leads to mistakes on my part. I prefer to play normally. Here, of course, I'm trying to bait out the SP2, and you can outspace it easily enough. And we don't have enough power, so I go for an intercept. Still don't have enough power, so again I have to deal with an unblockable. He throws his SP1, which I just have to take, which is extremely annoying. Here, I'm not sure why that dashback didn't work, but I'm still in my first life, just about. We throw our SP1, purify all the debuffs. There, my parry doesn't work now, or I miss it. Forget that he's going to be unstoppable, so I run straight into him. I'm into my second life. Luckily, I have been wearing him down. purify those debuffs. He throws another SP1, which luckily he wasn't unblockable at the time. But we're going to get another corruption cycle in a moment. Luckily, I can just power on at this point and manage to heal him. So yeah, that was sketchy. A lot of things went wrong there, but I do like Fury for that fight. Not only have you got the easy purify, or at least what's meant to be an easy purify, but even if you screw up, you've got that second life, which is of course a godsend when you mess up, as I did in this fight. So that was fine, really. So that's another five fights add to the tally. I'm doing okay. I think I'm averaging something. I think I'm on 31 fights or something for the season so far, which is just above average, which is fine. No deaths yet, but of course I'm sure they will come. I've not had that many hard fights. Thank you for watching, everyone. I will see you all in the next one. Ta-ta.